and welcome back to Two Furs for the Avengers Reserve Podcast, episode 9. And I'm delighted, as always, to be joined by Sad Boy Care. How are you doing today, Care?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm okay, thank you. Little bit hungover, but we move.
Fair enough.
We are, as I mentioned today, sponsored by San Pellegrino. It's going to be helping me get through the day, so...
Nice. Just pure
obviously
sugar.
Big celebrations here. Yeah, it literally is. I can see what you mean about the sour taste now. Took one sip of it and was like, yeah, it's not nice. But yeah, big celebrations here because we've gotten through the group stages of the Euros and things like that. So we were out in full force last night. It was great.
Love that. Yeah, I saw your Instagram story.
Yeah.
It looked like a good
very
time.
Drunk.
Yeah.
You need to check Darren's, actually. Darren's is a really funny one of me on there.
Oh, my days. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so I've actually watched this episode twice now, just because I tried watching it in the morning and it was quite light. And then I think I was just traipsing through it because of my hangover. So I was just like, I'll watch it again when I get in.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I probably should have a lot more in-depth of this episode. But like we were saying, like there's not really that many notes to take away from this.
Yeah, but it's not like because it was lacking anything. I actually think it was like the best episode in the series so far. I think it was more so because like it goes into that like Loki soul searching, but it's like for both of the characters, which I really, really liked.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, I don't know, I really enjoyed this episode, honestly.
Yeah, I think there's quite a few elements which kind of make it interesting. It's just as well, like I know that we said off camera that, you know, I kind of miss Mobius from this episode, but I can, you know, the void has been filled quite well by Lady Loki or Enchantress.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it just has swapped it so well. It's just been a nice shift. Which, you know, I guess Marvel are quite good at doing, and this series is definitely sort of keeping us on our toes by doing so. But yeah, really good episode, really, really good. Definitely my favourite so far. And I think this one as well, maybe it's poor memory, but you really get to see Loki's power, like how powerful he actually is in this one. Him using his magic. I really, really enjoyed seeing that.
I agree. I like that he's used it in a way that we haven't seen him do it before, you know? Like, the way he was just kind of, like, going like this and, like, throwing the people across the room. I was like, I've never seen him do that before. So I thought it was just, like, really interesting that they could still, like, add on to his power, even though we know the character so well. Or, like, who the character's supposed to be, you know?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was even like the little things with like fireworks. Like all we really, to the extent of his powers, was kind of just like what's it called? Like obviously, he used the Infinity Stone, didn't he, to do mind control and things like that. Yeah. And then he would shapeshift. That's really what we know of Loki. That's what we know of him. But you know, to see little things like with the fireworks, and later on in the episode, like he stops an entire building from like collapsing on them. I thought it was fantastic. Really good.
I really enjoyed it, and I liked learning about like the backstory of it as well. You know, like I didn't actually know that his mom, I forget his mom's name, but I didn't know that was the person who taught him how to use his magic. I thought he just kind of like figured it out himself. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why I thought that, but
no, yeah.
Maybe it's like explained somewhere else, but like I just missed it. I don't know, but
yeah, I think it is. It definitely is mentioned somewhere, but you know, I couldn't pick out the very specific moment. But yeah, it is mentioned that his mum is the one who's kind of like teaches him tricks and things like that. Raised by witches. That line sticks in my head for some reason.
Yeah.
But I don't know if she says that to Thor what it is. But yeah, episode in general, you know, it kind of starts off, picks up really fast pace from where it left. With Loki and Enchantress at the TVA building. Did it seem like they were going to move that quickly to you straight away? Were you kind of expecting them to just try and take on the Timekeeper straight away?
No. I thought she was going to, like, go somewhere else and, like, recuperate and then go. Also, I think it's very interesting because she knows so much about the timelines and, like, where each of the apocalypses are, right? And she has the... What is it? The tempad. They say it, like, 50 times in this episode. She has the tempad.
Yeah.
And how the hell did she get that? And how the hell did she get all of that information without ever going to the TVA? And the reason why I say she's never been to the TVA before is because she didn't know that her powers didn't work there. So how did she get all of that stuff and all of that information when she's never been there before? And I have like kind of a theory about it based on a different line later on, but it's really like a half theory. Like it's not like any fully constructed theory. But should I just say it now or should I wait? I don't know.
Yeah, go for it.
It's basically just based on the line where she said the mission. She called her plan the mission instead of saying it was her plan. So it makes me think that she's working for someone else who gave her all of this information and who gave her the tempad, you know?
Yes.
And the only person I can think of that she would be working for is Kang. But
is who, sorry?
Kang. The guy.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, because I was speaking with that speaking about how they're going to incorporate Kang at some point into Loki, because there's only 6 episodes for this, right? So
I don't know. We don't actually know how many episodes there are.
No,
we've
really
guessed 6, but I have no idea.
How many was Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Was it 6?
But WandaVision was like 8 or 10. I think it was 8.
Yeah. But that made sense because the episodes were a lot shorter, or most of them were.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, Kang, to kind of like include him at some point, it's got to be in basically the next episode or the episode after at some point. Which, you know, is going to be really interesting. And yeah, I think, you know, she potentially could be working for someone like Kang. I think her working for somebody in general, very true. It's just difficult to know, because they touched on it as well in this episode, and they talk a little bit later about what part of the timeline that she is from. Because is it where she could end up working for Thanos, or...
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that, like, she is working for Thanos, but I'm saying that, like, is she from the timeline where she's already worked for him, trying to take over Earth? Like, there's a lot of kind of uncertainty around it. So
the only thing
there's a lot of possibilities.
Like, I think that if Thanos knew about the TVA, like, no one knows about the TVA except for people who work there or people who've been, like, captured by them, you know? So that's why I don't think that it's, like, any... I don't want to say lesser villain, because Thanos literally just destroyed the universe. But any, like... I guess it is kind of, like, less all-knowing than the Timekeepers, will say. Like, anyone who's, like, under the TVA in terms of, like, power and, like, knowledge, I don't think it would be them. I think it would have to be either a rogue TVA agent or, like, someone like Kang, who's, like, the biggest time criminal in Marvel history.
Yeah, well, I mean, Kang obviously does make a lot of sense considering we're expecting him to be incorporated. There's still the potential for Mephisto, but yeah, it's just not a very... I don't feel like Mephisto kind of move. I think they'll want to make his inclusion a little bit bigger. So yeah, I don't know. Kang. I think we'll definitely see Kang included at some point. Yeah, so Lady Loki. I really don't know what to call her. Because she doesn't like being called Lady Loki, but do we call her Sylvie? Lady Loki?
Yeah, I think so. She said
Enchantress?
Sylvie in the show. I have a thought that she's not Enchantress yet. I feel like this is kind of like an origin story. Like, she'll be given the name later, just kind of like Wanda was. But, like, we know
I was literally
it's
about
her.
to say, yeah. Yeah. Kind of like with the whole, what's it called? Torres from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who's going to be the new Falcon. Exactly the sort of thing is what I was going to mention. But yeah, so they end up on Lamentis 1, which, according to Sylvie, or Lady Loki, need to find a way to describe her, but is the worst apocalypse that they could have visited. It's sometime in the future. The entire planet gets destroyed, or moon gets destroyed. What do you make of the entire being, the entire planet?
What do you mean? Like,
just like the
what do I
generic
make of, like, what's
setting,
happening,
I suppose.
or the setting? Okay, I really liked the setting of the moon. I think it was really interesting because I don't know, like, it had like, it weirdly gave me a Western vibe at first, even though it's like dystopian. Like, it was the part where they are like kind of just wandering, and then they stumble upon like the little shack that the lady is like holed up in. And I was like, this is giving me like 50s Western vibes, and I don't have any idea why. And then it goes straight into like Blade Runner when they get to the city, and I just thought that was very interesting. It also kind of gave me like Hunger Games vibes when they were on the train. I don't know, I got a lot of different vibes from this episode. They like mixed together a bunch of like dystopian, but also like, I guess, traits that we usually see in like usual, like, normal films. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I can definitely see the Hunger Games kind of vibe. For me, it was more just kind of seeing the transition between, you know, people who are very poor and can't really, like, the woman who has like her own house, which they like try and invade, is like a shack, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's very kind of run down, and then when they do get to the city, or when they're on the train, it's very, you know, upper class, luxurious, and I think that was very important for Loki's character development, because you see him sort of feeling for, you know, the poorer people, and right at the end being like, all these people are going to die, they're just going to let them all die, sort of thing. So I think that's just what I really enjoyed about the setting, is that it's very run down, and you kind of just see Loki developing a little bit of emotions, which is great. He's on his way to being his normal self, the one that we all know and love.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that, the outfits, too, of the people on the train, it was just, like, very Hunger Games. And I agree. I think that, like, we are seeing him actually, like, care about people, which I feel like, because in Asgard, there's not really, like, an upper class and a lower class, right? They're just all kind of, like, the same. So I feel like he also is not really exposed to that very often, you know? Where there's, like, such a divide in, like, the classes. So I think you're right. I think it is going to, like, trigger... It definitely did already trigger some kind of, like, tiny little bit of emotional response.
Yeah.
That, like, is gonna, like...
100%.
Kickstart it, you know?
They obviously managed to get on the train by disguising themselves as a guard and things like that. Great plan, you know, as Lady Loki mentions. But what did you make of the entire encounter between those two? Or not really an encounter, but the conversation that they were in, you know, talking about their mothers. I'm pretty sure as well, like, I don't know if I watched it twice. Loki comes out as bi, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Nice
that made me very happy.
Segue in there.
That made me very happy. And, like, right at the tail end of Pride Month, too, I was like, yay. I think it was very interesting because I did see something. I don't know if you sent it to me, but I saw like an article or something that was like, this episode is gonna introduce the MCU's like first. Is it their first? I guess kind of LGBT character. I guess it is the first.
Maybe. I know that like Ms. Marvel is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't sound great, but I can't remember. But she's like something, something very significant for.
She's LGBT, part of that community. Yes.
yes, the entire community. Yes.
Yeah. I did see something, and I didn't expect it to be Loki. That's what I was gonna say. I was expecting it to be like introducing a new character, so I'm really happy that it was a character that we already know and love. It makes me very happy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because again, it's that, how are they developing the character that we already know so much about? And I think it was just a very nice addition. Hadn't really given it too much thought, won't lie, and just a nice little addition to add on to the character of Loki. I thought it was really smart.
Oh yeah, I love it. Makes me very happy.
They obviously speak about their mums and their sort of like different upbringings in a well. It seems that Lady Loki wasn't as close with I'm forgetting her name. It's terrible. Odin's wife, Loki's mum. Doesn't seem like
I keep wanting to say Hela, but it's not Hela. Because that's the sister.
That's what I keep going to say, and I'm like, it's not
right. Is it Hera? I'm looking it up right now.
I can't remember.
Because I can't not have the name.
But they talk about.
I'm gonna butcher this. Frigga.
Frida. Yeah.
No, Frigga with a G, with two G's actually.
Frigga. Yes, that one.
It's the Norse mythology.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really liked it, and the fact that she knew that she was adopted.
Yeah.
It just kind of shows that, like, even though they're the same person but from different timelines, they still have so much different happenings in their lives, in their very different lives.
Yeah, it makes me kind of confused, I'm not gonna lie. Because, I don't know. Maybe I just don't understand, like, how they explained the timelines, but it made it seem like every variant of Loki, every, like, different dimension that has a Loki in it, they have the same story. But obviously that's not true. So what it made me think was, like, because, like, part of Loki's life is, like, he's the reason his mother dies, right? So was Sylvie somehow the reason that her mother died, just really young? Like, did something happen when she was really young that she did, or that happened because of her that caused her mother to die? It made me, like, go way too far into it in my head, and I was like, I can't think about this too much because I'm just gonna spend all day thinking about this if I do. So it made me, like, wonder if something that Sylvie did when she was really young, did that cause her mother to die? You know? But, like, just differently. It made me think too far into it. But I was just very... I don't know, because from my understanding, they're supposed to have, like, the same series of events happen in their lives, you know?
Yes, but obviously, because like I was saying, like, they're from different timelines and they're not completely the same person, and it does get a little bit confusing, but it is everything as the timekeepers are creating for them.
Yeah.
So basically, the timekeepers are just very messy people, is what we've come to understand, because, you know, they're creating multiple different versions of people in different timelines and trying to stop the multiverse, but... You know, it gets to the point where you're kind of like, do they just want it to happen? Do you know what I mean? Because why else would you create so many different versions of people to then set them on the path to create the multiverse? It's a very, very confusing situation, but it goes into that whole, time travel and things like that, which, we are going to cover a lot more over the next few episodes. I'm pretty sure, obviously, we knew that this series was going to be time related. So, it is. It just does get very, very confusing. But I think it's just that it's everything as the timekeepers wanted it to go by. So I hope we just find out more about Lady Loki, really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm expecting to find out more about her, like, her timeline and how her life goes,
Yeah. What did you make of... I can't remember at which specific point this was, but the everyone who works for the TVA are variants and had a previous life. This was mind blowing for me. I was like, oh my god, that's a really big spin.
So, okay, I kind of thought it was weird when we opened the show, right? Because it was a very generic scene. It was they're at a regular restaurant, they're friends, whatever. And then when I realized that Enchantress was kind of just manipulating her, I kind of thought it was weird because I was like, okay, why would she bring her to a restaurant that's normal? And I played it off in my head. I was like, okay, maybe it's just the TVA cafeteria, right? And then when she said that, I was like, what the fuck? I was just shocked. It makes me think that the TVA is not, it's not the TVA.
People.
I think,
no, I do 100% see it.
But maybe not even just the TVA, maybe because I don't know. This show is so
we were always
difficult
looking
to,
at Ravonna being a bit of a meddler though, and playing things to Kang's things. That's how we think that it will kind of turn out. That's really kind of how I've seen it. I think that she's just continues playing games by not telling anyone. The thing that just freaks me out is that everyone who works for the TVA is a variant and they don't know about their past life.
That's what I'm saying.
That was the kind of real shocker for me.
So, okay.
They're basically prisoners. And that's why I think it's Ravonna and bringing in Kang very slowly but surely.
Which kind of makes sense, actually, if you think about it, because the TVA, they bring people in, right? We've never seen where they bring the variants. We've never seen, a jail or, any kind of, prison system where they keep the variants. We only just see the bureaucracy of everything. So it makes sense to me. It does make sense. Another thing I was going to say, this is kind of off topic, but it's still on topic. It makes me think that Kang is kind of an anti-hero. He's not a villain, he's an anti-hero, and I'm starting to think that maybe he's still currently a timekeeper. And he hasn't broken off from the timekeepers yet, And he's playing Ravonna and he's playing Sylvie to his advantages and kind of trying to put things in motion to kind of put things the way they should be. Maybe. I don't know. Because we don't know if the timekeepers are bad people or bad entities, We just assume that because we've heard Sylvie's side of the story and we don't know what the grand scheme of things are. Oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Sorry. The stupid phone.
That's good. Yes, to some extent, yes. The whole... you know, the whole mission of Sylvie to basically go and blow up like the timekeepers to get in there. It's difficult as well because I keep remembering that we've seen the timekeepers, like very briefly seen the timekeepers and know what they look like and things like that. I think Kang just wants to overthrow it, open up the multiverse, and wants to be where the timekeepers are and have complete control of it. And I think that's what backs up the whole everyone is a variant who works for the TVA and they're prisoners of time. It just makes so much sense that it's a very sort of Kang move, I believe.
Yeah, it very well could be like he's the one who came up with that idea, and then but I just want to know who Sylvie's working for, because I know she's working for someone. She has to be. The word mission, that was like one of the only like 4 notes I had about this episode. I was like, why did she use the word mission instead of plan? Yeah. Like she was like, oh, I don't get, it was when he was getting drunk. She was like, I don't get reckless on missions. And I was like, before it was your plan and now it's a mission. So
yeah,
was that like a slip up? Like, you know, I don't know.
I mean, I think it could very well be Ravonna, kind of. It's like I said, like I just don't trust her completely, and I think she is like a double or triple agent sort of thing. So yeah, I do think that she's playing some part in it, but whether it's with Sylvie or just kind of, like I said, being a triple agent and working alongside Kang, yet to really find out. But yeah, I just get that feeling that now, after we've spoken about it as well, that next week's episode is gonna be a blinder. Really feel it. Can see some introductions and just open everything up. Be fantastic. We'll just touch on quickly, obviously, they were unable to save the planet. That's what they were doing. They wanted to hijack the Ark and fly it away.
The cliffhanger.
Again... Sorry?
The cliffhanger that ended this episode made me so upset. I was like, what the fuck? Like...
Yeah. This is why I had to, like, rewatch it, though, because when I watched it the first time, I didn't really notice what was going on. So when I watched it the second time, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And it was a
just
lot. Going back to that whole... It's part of the soul-searching journey. Which I'd like to loop back to, because I think it's not only Loki on that journey, it's obviously Lady Loki, and I think that is the first time where you get to see Lady Loki show somewhat of emotion. Obviously it's quite a wide shot and it's not like a close-up, but you can see that they're both a bit, you know, probably scared because their plan didn't work, but also, you know, they could have saved thousands of people, millions of people potentially. I don't know how big the Ark is, and they didn't manage to do it. So I do think it showed part of that journey for Lady Loki as well.
Yeah, I think for her, it was definitely just like, get me out of here. But for Loki at that point, it was kind of like, I need to save these people. Like, these people are gonna die.
Yeah.
And, like, even
100%.
though he knew it was inevitable, it was, like, he still felt like he needed to do it. Which, like, we've never seen him show any kind of remorse towards humanity ever before. So, it was just kind of, like, really sad. It made me really sad. I was like, oh, Jesus. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of liked that they ended on just, like, the wide shot of her walking away and him just, like, standing there in shock. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, he was just as shocked and upset as every single other person in that crowd, you know? Like, everyone else had the exact same reaction as him. She was the only one who kind of just, like, walked away and was like, all right, well, shit.
That's that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you could still tell that she had no remorse for humanity at that point, whereas Loki was, like, he realized that, like, he can't save these people now. And I think that that is a big difference from just the first episode Loki that we saw, you know? Where it was, like, all about him.
100%. It's like I said, like the development of a character that we've already had is just it's mind blowing, really, in 3 episodes. Because he's come along such a way so far. So yeah, brilliant. I can't wait. I really, really can't wait for next week's episode. Rating out of 10 before we forget, because we always forget to do ratings, or we did forget to do the first one. So yeah, your rating.
Go first. I want to say 9. I thought it was really good. Yeah. I thought it was really, really good. I don't know if it's going to be my favorite episode, obviously, because we haven't seen the rest. So if all of the other ones just kind of like, not fall off, but like if they're more so like the first 2, I guess, then this will probably be my favorite episode. But definitely, as of right now, it's my favorite episode.
Definitely, yeah, no, I agree. So far, so good. Definitely my favourite episode of the bunch. Would probably rate it a good 8.5. I think, it has got me very excited to see those next 3 episodes. Whereas before, like, I was kind of a bit... Don't get me wrong, like, I was looking forward to the next episode of Loki, but I wasn't kind of...
Yeah.
Jumping for it and, waiting eagerly for it, I suppose. Really hard to word it. I don't know why. It's no words just aren't coming out today. Must be the hangover, mate. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that those next few episodes, that's why I've kind of gone for 8.5, because I just get the feeling that they're going to be big. And I just really hope I'm not disappointed. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Marvel disappoints very often, so...
No, yeah, I don't think so. Like, I don't want to obviously go too far back in the Loki series where episodes 1 and 2 were, like, okay. They weren't, like, amazing, but Loki, again, was, as we've mentioned, was one of the most hyped about series, I feel. Had a lot more promotion, and we knew it had been coming for a while, sort of thing. So, I think it's just partially that, and now it's really up in the ante. It's fantastic. Don't really have too much news or predictions or theories. We've kind of touched on our predictions in this episode anyway, really. As long as a couple of theories. Enchantress theory, we've kind of like touched on that, so don't really need to re-mention it. So yeah, the only bit of news... I think it's pretty much
confirmed at this point.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, so the only actually bit of news is it's a rumour that is surfacing is that Chameleon will reportedly be a villain in Sony's upcoming Kraven the Hunter movie, which is an interesting addition. Don't know too much about Kraven the Hunter, but we have mentioned him before on the podcast, I'm pretty sure.
I think we have. I don't remember when or why, but
yeah,
I do remember the name.
Notable alias is Spider-Man. But look, excited to see that Sony is still kind of producing their own version of these types of things. I thought they were sort of like done and dusted. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting move, definitely. I'm looking forward to just kind of seeing those sneak peeks, who gets casted and things like that. But good to know that Chameleon will be a part of it, for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, I think that is everything for today. Like I said, very much looking forward to next week's episode. But thank you very much for watching or listening on Spotify. Always struggle to word those two together, but please be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new on YouTube. You can also check the links in the description. You can find Kare's channel on Twitter on there. Also be an annotation on the screen where you can click through to her channel. Go subscribe to her. She does very good content as always. And thank you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.